Hey everybody, my name's Kenny Carlson and I'm the Executive Director and Chaplain for Reclaim Project Recovery Northwest. We are a transformational platform for men transitioning out of incarceration, addiction, and homelessness. Now, there's a stigma in our culture about these sorts of men, but from our experience over the last 5 years, the majority of these men just need security, they need purpose, they need opportunity, they need guidance. They need someone who cares enough about them to show them what it looks like to be a real man. Now, helping these guys reclaim their lives mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, that's what we do. We build capable men. Through these 5 questions that I ask in these interviews, you will get the opportunity to know one of our guys each month. And our aim in doing this is to give you a new perspective and hope for our communities and for our world. Now, if you're in need of help or you know someone who's in need of help, go to our website at reclaimprojectnw.org. So check out these videos, check out these interviews. Like it, share it, and subscribe. Thank you. Hey everybody, it's Kenny from the Reclaim Project. Today we get to sit down with a guy that is very special to us here, and he's a good friend of mine now. His name is Ken Beach, and he is our housing director for the Reclaim Project. And he does all of the messy work, all the dirty work that is very difficult. He's super good at it. He's been with us for about 1.5 years. So it's my pleasure to introduce him to you and to interview him and let him tell you his story. It's powerful. There is so much to it. I think you're going to get a lot out of it, and it's going to show you that there's hope for all different aspects of people going through homelessness, addiction, all of that stuff. So I'm excited to do this. So let's get going. You ready?
I'm ready, yep.
Cool. So Ken Beach. So Ken, talk to me a little bit about who you were, where you were. What did your life look like before you came to the Reclaim Project?
Before I came to the Reclaim Project, I was somebody that had a family. I was married. I had children. I had everything, a house, everything you could think of that a guy would want. Working a full-time job, taking care of my kids. Wife was working. I mean, it was a normal, what you would call a normal life. And slowly, just with that happening, the marriage started to fall apart. With that came obviously divorce and me moving out. And from that point going forward, slowly decline started to happen. I started working a job, a very strenuous job, with a lot of hours, a lot of different stuff, came up with some injuries. And from there, the pain medication started my decline. And I quickly became addicted to pain medication. It started out very simply, just taking pain meds, and then I started abusing them. And I did that for probably about 2 years straight until just it became too tough to get them from doctors anymore, and this and that. So I went straight to the street to try and find them there where you could get them in large quantities, all that stuff. And then from there, it just wasn't doing it for me anymore. Slowly that led into heroin use, fentanyl use, and it continued to decline. I was homeless for probably, I would say, 3 to 5 years, running the streets for about, I would say a total, I was in and out of apartments as well, renting here and there, where I was pretty functional in my drug addiction for a while until it got really bad where the heroin started, and then I was losing apartments. I didn't make great choices in my life as far as women, this and that. And I ended up homeless and living in a car for about 2 years. And that it just steady decline got worse and worse until I was having trouble health-wise very badly. And I ended up going to the hospital. I couldn't breathe one day, and I thought I just had a chest cold. It was right around where COVID started. I thought that was the deal. I went into the hospital, and they had informed me that I was in heart failure. So I spent 7 to 10 days in the ICU recouping from that. And my drug use was so bad at that point that my girlfriend at the time was sneaking drugs into the hospital, and I had my own room, and I would go into the bathroom and use drugs so I could continue to not be sick at the hospital from not using drugs. Anything we could do to get me drugs in there. I mean, that's how bad the addiction was. The heart failure didn't stop me from using drugs. I was aware of it. I was very upset about it. But in your addiction, it's part of something where when you're upset about something, you just go back to drugs because that's what numbs everything. And the drug use got worse and worse and worse. And finally, I ended up kind of in a hotel, laying there, basically OD'd and got shipped to the hospital. And my legs were this big around with fluid. If anybody doesn't know about heart failure, my heart doesn't beat fast enough. So it doesn't allow other stuff to work as well. So fluid buildup all over my legs. And when I say fluid buildup, I mean my legs were this big around. I could not put shoes on. I could not put socks on. You could stick your finger in my leg and your finger would disappear. That's how much fluid was on my body from the waist down. It was even going up into my back, but still didn't stop me, right? Like it didn't matter. I mean, I was laying there basically dead, and it didn't really make a difference to me. I kept using them. And from there, that's when I kind of decided at that point that it was time to do something about it.
Yeah. Wow. Ken, so you had everything. You had the wife, you had the kids, you had the house, you had the job, you had all that stuff.
Yeah.
And through divorce and all that stuff, your health declined, and you're just at this point now where you're basically a shell of a man.
Absolutely.
This is an important question, and what was it, and who was it that made you want to change? And where were you in all of that?
So, I mean, the story I just told leading up to it, being in the hospital and having a doctor, like I had no response to anybody. I could hear them. I could hear everybody. I had no response to them. I wasn't talking to them. They didn't know what I took. They had no idea. I was just laying in a hospital bed with a doctor banging on my chest saying, wake up, wake up. And I didn't even have a response. I could hear him and I could feel him, but I had no energy whatsoever to respond to him. Eventually, they decided to make whatever choice they made to bring me out of the OD itself, which Narcaned me, and I popped out, immediately got sick. And from that point, I slept in the hospital bed for about 7 days. I didn't make any movements out of it. My body was so just out of it. It had no energy to do anything. And it was in that 7 days, I slept most of it. And then in that 7 days, I just had this moment laying in the hospital bed thinking about my kids, just thinking about my life going forward. And I just decided, health-wise, I hadn't seen my kids in years, hadn't had any conversations with any family members in years, had no friends, had nowhere to go after leaving there, had literally nothing. And I just said enough's enough. And it was all my own choice. Nobody forced me into it. Nobody made me go into it. Nobody made me do anything. It was my own choice. I had a lot of conversations with God at that point, praying a lot. And just after that is when I just made that choice between me and him, asked him for his guidance and his help on where to go from the hospital, because obviously you can't stay in the hospital forever. Eventually they're going to get you back to health and they're going to release you. And I didn't have anywhere to go. So from there, I went to a detox facility for 5 days, and those people were great. They kind of give you the info and stuff that you need going forward, where they thought I should go, giving me, all the guidance I needed to get into a treatment facility. I went from a detox facility straight into Sunray Court, which I will give a shout out to them because they are a great, great treatment center. And I went to treatment, met some very, very good friends in there. I'm a studier of everything in life, so I really started studying addiction in there and understanding it, because in your addiction, you don't understand it. You have no mental capacity to be able to understand it, why you keep doing these things. And it took a while. I mean, I went to a 28-day to 30-day treatment. And then from there, I set up all my, I met a guy in there who's also in this program, John Ahern, and he thought I would be a good fit for the Reclaim Project. So that's where I set up the housing.
Cool. And I know there's someone else that was special to you, that when you were on the street living in your car, that was an officer.
Yes.
And he played a big role in that.
Yeah, this guy, Officer Pratt, he's in the, I did most of my running in the Spokane Valley, and this guy had caught me in the car numerous times, knew what I was up to. He didn't come down on me. He was there trying to help me. And he gave me a few opportunities to push myself into housing options, or he was helping me. He brought me blankets. He brought us food. He brought us a number of stuff. And this time I had a girlfriend at the time, and it was the two of us. But he kept coming back. He gave me his phone number. I was even able to call him a few times and say, hey, we're really struggling. And he was always there. He was always there. I owe a lot of credit to him, because ultimately one of the people that allowed me to make that decision along with God was Officer Pratt. Because knowing that he cared enough to continue to come back and answer the phone calls regardless. He didn't know who it was, but he's answering them. And just knowing the fact that he was doing that much for me, I know he's doing it for a bunch of other people. And that was one of the big reasons why I decided to get clean and sober. Because if he has enough care and love to do it for people he doesn't know, I can also just emulate that and then push that into what I'm doing now. So he is a big, big reason. I think I told you that when I first came in here. Well, he was one of the biggest reasons, and you guys allowed me to see him after I came in here, which was great. So
that's cool. Very cool.
Officer Pratt.
Yeah. Glory to God for what he's done in your life.
Yes.
Glory to God, and thank you for Officer Pratt and his dedication to his job and to coming alongside guys like you and loving them where they're at. And so you came out of Sunray and you came here. So tell us about the Reclaim Project. You've been here for 1.5 years.
Yep.
Tell us what the Reclaim Project has done for you.
I mean, I was like most guys coming in, very confused, didn't really think it was gonna work, didn't any of this thing, and I said they put me on a couch, was the only spot open, which I was very, very thankful for, but I sat on the couch. I didn't do anything. I didn't come down here, although there was guys, managers at the time coming up saying, we need you to come down to programming. I didn't come to meetings. I didn't do any of that. And in my first month in this program, I had a hiccup. And I came down here and sat with Aaron Allen, who's one of the co-founders of this place. And he just said, he said, I need you here. You need to come here. You have potential. We want you here. We want you involved. You can do big things in your life. You just need to believe in yourself. And he pretty much, him and Sean made it mandatory for me to come here and just show up every day to clean, do whatever it is, push a broom, start from the bottom. And I started doing that every day. And the more and more that I was here, the more and more I got involved. And I started having conversations with different people and realizing that this place is here for the men. They're not here for anything else. They're here to help us. And it's a hard thing to walk in that door and understand that. So once I did it and I started having conversations, and there's a lot of people in here that will just sit and stop their entire day to have conversations with you about anything you're going through, which is fantastic. And just more and more dealing with Aaron, following around some of the workers, doing a little bit of work here and there. And just eventually I fell into what is now my passion in life, and that's helping guys get through this door and helping them with their recovery. And there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of dirty work. You mentioned it, a lot of that stuff, but that stuff's okay. It's about the big picture, and this place saved my life, man. Like I was on the road to death very quickly, especially with the heart condition, and then you move in drugs with it. But they didn't give up on me. You know what I mean? They very easily at that point in time, after I did nothing in the first month here, they could have said, look, man, maybe you're not a good fit, maybe you're not this, maybe you're not that, but they didn't. Aaron gave me a huge hug, and I felt the energy in the hug, you know, like he cared.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all guys need.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good, man. That's really good. I want to give a shout out to you because so we promote an active, sober life here, and we really believe that creating these new healthy habits for in our lives and really burying those old habits, right? And is very valuable, and it's what we need for long-term sobriety and success.
Agreed.
And so Ken, we started playing basketball. So we played basketball 3 times a week.
Yep.
And with the guys, and Ken helped us start that. And now we have a softball team, and Ken helped us start that.
Yeah.
And it's been so great just doing life with you, man. And it's interesting. Like the cool thing about mine and Ken's relationship is that we grew up 500 miles away from here in Spokane. We grew up 500 miles away playing baseball against each other, and we never even knew it.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty amazing. Our relationship has grown too. Like we've become very close. We go to church every Sunday together. God is obviously a huge act in our life, and that's, I mean, doing that, and then the softball, the basketball, and it's not only just, you know, it's not just for us. It's to get all these other guys to understand it's possible. Everything is possible if you just have relationships and you have conversations and you have community and you have all this stuff. And sometimes, you know, a guy may not be a great basketball player, he may not be a great softball player, but just getting them out there and watching the smiles on their face and knowing they don't have to worry for that period of time about anything but enjoying the people they're with and the people around them is enough for me.
Yeah.
Just giving them that break of that period of time from all the bad stuff going on in their life or whatever it may be is enough for me to continue to do it day in and day out.
Yeah, you've been such a huge part of strengthening the brotherhood of the men in this program, and one of our core values is protect your brother.
Absolutely.
And I think that you encapsulate that very well, because you're the guy that's keeping the guys accountable, and you're the guy you have a couple guys that work under you, and you're having these guys keep these other guys accountable, and we have 30 houses, and each one of those houses has a manager, and you know you're the guy that is representing that core value, and that is so important, like protecting your brother.
Yeah, it's very important. It's one of my favorite in the core values, because there's nothing like just knowing that you can sit and talk to the guy that's next to you in the house if you're going through something, or you can call me. My phone number is available for every single guy that comes in and out of this program. I give it to them the minute they go through their intake process. I have a meeting with them and just let them knowing I care. Yep. Some relationships are different from others. That's part of it. Some get really close, but there's always a relationship there. And it's always a good thing to have with every person coming into this program, along with the people that have been in this program. I try to be an open mind, open heart, don't judge people, because I've been through it all. I've been as far down as you can get and fought my way back. So just really letting these guys know it's possible, you know? You just got to talk to us. You just got to be open in communication, and that's hard for a lot of guys coming out of addiction and coming out of treatment. They're very, you know, just closed off, and getting them to open up is kind of a gift that I have. And I've learned all this from this is all learned stuff starting in this business, and I've learned a lot of it from you, from Sean, and from Aaron Allen. A lot of it. Those are my mentors. And that's who I want to be when I want to be up there with them, you know?
Yeah, that's good. Ken, tell me about what you are proud of that you're doing right now in your life, and where you see yourself in 5 years from now.
What I'm most proud of is to be, like I always am, 1,000% honest, is regaining the relationships with my children, with my family, which all of it is still a work in progress, even after a year and a half. Those things don't come. I mean, you've heard a lot of people in your addiction going forward, family members, friends, all that stuff. Those things don't happen overnight. Just showing a lot of patience with that situation, because it can become something as addicts, we think that stuff's supposed to be just solved immediately and done, but you have to have patience in it, and getting those relationships back to where we need them, and that's all my family and friends and all of it. That's what I'm most proud of, is re-getting that part of my life back. That's the most important part, family, all that stuff. So getting that stuff back is my number one goal, along with doing everything in my power. I'm very proud of being able to mentor a lot of guys that come in here. I mean, we don't have a ton of time. There's a lot of guys, but there are a few that need a lot of guidance, and being able to have them call me at any point in time at night, doesn't matter a time, doesn't matter a day. My phone never stops going off, and I always answer it. There's never a time I don't answer it, because that could be someone's breaking point. And committing to that is something that can be overwhelming. So I'm proud that I can continue to do that, and just helping as many guys that I possibly can. And we want to take on more, like it's what we're trying to do, and we want to just succeed in that as much as we can. It's a prideful thing, like we want people to come to us. We want men to come to us, and we want to help them.
Yeah.
Where do I see myself in 5 years? Right here. Yeah. With the Reclaim Project, continuing to do exactly what I'm doing on a larger scale and at a higher level, because as much as we're helping guys right now, we all can improve. Everybody can improve, and that's what I'm working towards in 5 years. I want to be better each and every day that I'm doing this, because we all make mistakes, and it's a learning process. And in 5 years, I want to be here. I want to be one of the big guys, and I want to help as many people as I possibly can. That's my goal, and I'm going to stick to it. I'm absolutely in this for life. At the Reclaim Project is my home. It's my family, and I don't ever plan on going anywhere. This is my calling, and this is what I want to do.
That's great. Thank you. I love what you said about reconciling relationships with your family and your daughters, and God is in the business of reconciling relationships. Mm-hmm. And that's what's most important to him, reconciling us back to him,
yes,
and then reconciling us with each other, right?
Yes.
And he's also in the business of reclaiming the lives of men. Mm-hmm. And it's so fun to see how he's done that with you and me and all these other guys in our program.
Yeah, he's a big part of what this whole process with me. And it took me to, give myself to him to understand it. And I'm still learning. Right. I think we all are. We're still learning, and we'll never know every answer. But to have him alongside of me in everything that I do makes a huge, huge difference.
For sure. Yeah. Well, Ken, this last question is also, they're all very important questions, mm-hmm, and good questions, but this is an opportunity for you, and I'm going to have you look at the camera, but if someone out there is watching this video right now, and they're going through, they have the same likeness of your story, mm-hmm, and they're going through it right now, what do you want to say to them? What do you want to say to them?
Basically, you got to understand that people care. People love you, whether it's your family, your friends. For me, noticing Officer Pratt that cared when he didn't need to. There is people out there that care about you and that want to help you. So don't ever get a feeling like you have nobody, because we're right here. There's plenty of people out there that will help you, and it's possible. I'm living proof. There's about 160 guys in this program that are living proof, and we'll continue to help as many people as we possibly can. The hardest part is walking through the door and making that decision. Once you do, you can one day be sitting here. It's all possible. Just keep doing, keep fighting and follow the Reclaim Project.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time with us today. I know you're like the busiest guy around here.
It's pretty crazy, yeah.
So I thank you for taking this time with us today. I love you, and I'm just in awe of what God's done in your life and how you're continuing to grow, and you're leaning in and you're digging and reaching for more, and still fighting for that sobriety and fighting for the other guys in this program. Mm-hmm. Man, I just love you, and I appreciate what you do.
I love you too, Kenny. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching this. Make sure that you like it and that you subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one. Love you.